In 1868, the Tata Group was founded on a philosophy that put the community at the heart of its existence. Today, we are $100 billion global enterprise. Our today has been built on enduring values. Our today is about delivering excellence across business sectors. Our today is about building a future-ready nation. Our today has a strong foundation with community at its core. Our today is dedicated to the communities we serve. Our today is always about more than just today. Our today is a continuous journey for a better tomorrow. Tata, leadership with trust.
Shapuji Palanji, is an 153-year young, not old, engineering and construction conglomerate. We have a dream to engineer a better planet. We have a dream for Africa to engineer a super Africa. At Shapoorji, our dream for Africa was born a good 13 years ago. At Shapoorji, we believe that Africa and India were born of the same seed. We believe that we have a lot in common and that we can develop these two continents to the mutual benefit of each other. Today, I can proudly say that we are in over 20 different countries in Africa. Our objective at Shapoorji is to enjoy customer trust and to deliver iconic projects on time. We are and have been an international organization for 48 years. In order to focus our vision on certain areas, we would like to have a strategic growth in Africa in the following areas: solar and storage, large-scale convention centers, mass housing, large marine projects, large infrastructure and connectivity projects, large oil and gas projects. At Shapoorji, we endeavor to touch the lives of people in a beneficial manner in whichsoever country or geography that we put our foot into. We would like to come to Africa to enrich the social culture, the social fabric of the entire continent. We would like to come to Africa to enrich ourselves with the culture of the various different African countries. We plan at Shapoorji, we envision at Shapoorji, our focus at Shapoorji is to be in Africa for another 100 years. We would love to make investments in Africa and see Africa grow and grow together with Africa.
In 1868, the Tata Group was founded on a philosophy that put the community at the heart of its existence. Today, we are a $100 billion global enterprise. Our today has been built on enduring values. Our today is about delivering excellence across business sectors. Our today is about building a future-ready nation. has a strong foundation with community at its core. Our today is dedicated to the communities we serve. Our today is always about more than just today. Our today is a continuous journey for a better tomorrow. Tata, leadership with trust.
Shapoorji Pallonji is an 153-year young, not old, engineering and construction conglomerate. We have a dream to engineer a better planet. We have a dream for Africa to engineer a super Africa. At Shapoorji, our dream for Africa was born a good 13 years ago. At Shapoorji, we believe that Africa and India were born of the same seed. We believe that we have a lot in common and that we can develop these two continents to the mutual benefit of each other. Today, I can proudly say that we are in over 20 different countries in Africa. Our objective at Shapoorji is to enjoy customer trust and to deliver iconic projects on time. We are and have been an international organization for 48 years. In order to focus our vision on certain areas, we would like to have a strategic growth in Africa in the following areas: solar and storage, large-scale convention centers, mass housing, large marine projects, large infrastructure and connectivity projects, large oil and gas projects. At Shapoorji, we endeavor to touch the lives of people in a beneficial manner in whichsoever country or geography that we put our foot into. We would like to come to Africa to enrich the social culture, the social fabric of the entire continent. We would like to come to Africa to enrich ourselves with the culture of the various different African countries. We plan at Shapurji, we envision at Shapurji, our focus at Shapurji is to be in Africa for another 100 years. We would love to make investments in Africa and see Africa grow and grow together with Africa.
In 1868, the Tata Group was founded on a philosophy that put the community at the heart of its existence. Today, we are a $100 billion global enterprise. Our today has been built on enduring values. Our today is about delivering excellence across business sectors.
CB will start now.
Yeah.
Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. On behalf of the Ministry of External Affairs, Economic Diplomacy Division, Ministry of Commerce of India, Government of India, India Exim Bank, and the Confederation of Indian Industry, I'd like to welcome all of you to this special ministerial session at the 16th CII Exim Bank Conclave on India and Africa Project Partnership. The session today, Defragmenting a Broad-Basing India-Africa Bilateral Trade. Today, to begin this session, I'd like to invite Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General, Confederation of Indian Industry, to give his welcome remarks and start the session.
Thank you, Renuka. Thank you. Very good afternoon and a good evening to all our participants. Shri Honorable Piyush Goyal, the Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution and Textiles of the Government of India, Honorable Ministers, Excellencies from Africa, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, thank you for joining us for this session. Warm welcome to you. You have led, if one can say, the India-Africa economic relationships really from the front, and we are privileged to have you in our midst today. Thank you very much, and you have been gracing the India-Africa Forum for the last few years, and it is very important that we get your wise counsel as we move ahead. A very warm welcome to our African dignitaries. It's a great honor for us to have your support and guidance for this very, very important digital conference that we have here today. Let me first also welcome His Excellency Mr. Felix Molo, the Minister for Economy, Planning and Cooperation, Central African Republic. Excellency, welcome to this conclave. There is much that India and Central African Republic can do together to strengthen the bilateral economic cooperation. Welcome to you. May I also welcome His Excellency Mr. Suleiman Diarasoba, the Minister of Commerce and Industry, Republic of Cote d'Ivoire. Honorable Minister, we are indeed delighted to have you with us. Cote d'Ivoire is one of our most important partners in West Africa. His Excellency Mr. Jean-Lucia Boussa Tongba, the Minister for External Trade of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Thank you for joining us once again this year at this year's Africa Conclave. We look forward to strengthening our ties with the Democratic Republic of Congo. His Excellency Mr. Melaku Alabel, the Minister for Trade and Industry, the Government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Minister, we are indeed very delighted to have you with us here today. Relations between India and Ethiopia go back many centuries, and Indian industry is so very pleased to be an integral part of Ethiopia. Very important developmental progress that we see as we go along. His Excellency, Mr. Cesar Augusto Hinestrosa Gomez, the Vice Minister of the Industry and Energy, Equatorial Guinea. Minister, we are privileged to have you with us. Our relationship with Equatorial Guinea is growing at a very, very steady pace, and your country has become an important source of energy for India. His Excellency, Mr. Otunba Richard Adeni Adebayo, Minister for Industry, Trade and Investment in Republic of Nigeria. Minister, sir, we are indeed very privileged to have you with us today. Despite your very busy schedule, our relations with Nigeria is indeed very strong, and we look forward to strengthening it even further. His Excellency, Professor Kitila Alexander Kumbo, Minister of Trade and Industry, Government of United Republic of Tanzania. Minister, welcome to this conclave. Indian industry has a long history of cooperation also with Tanzania, and we really look forward to taking this forward very strongly, and your participation is indeed a very signal to this important partnership. His Excellency, Mr. Adesi Koju Sevon Tepe, the Minister of Commerce, Industry and Local Consumption, Republic of Togo. Excellency, thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to exploring newer avenues of cooperation between India and Togo. His Excellency, Mr. FMM Shava, the Minister for Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Republic of Zimbabwe. Minister, thank you for joining us today. A warm welcome to you. We look forward to exploring newer areas of partnership between India and Zimbabwe. His Excellency, Mr. Lawrence Macharia Karanja, Chief Administrative Secretary, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development, Kenya. It is indeed a pleasure to have you with us. Very warm welcome, and we look forward to once again going back to your country with a delegation as we did just a few years back. And with me, we have joined from CII, Mr. Sanjeev Bajaj, the President Designate of CII, and myself, Chandrajit Banerjee. Warm welcome to you, Sanjeev, for this very important Africa conclave. Thank you. I must mention that there are, this current edition that we are having here today of this conclave has a participation of over 3,500 delegates from 45 African countries and other parts of the world, so beyond Africa. Over 50% of the delegates are from outside of India. This goes to really illustrate tremendous interest that the conclave has generated. 35 ministers from our African countries and from India are participating in this summit. This is by far the largest conclave that we have witnessed in the recent times and in terms of participation. And thanks to this virtual way that we are doing it, we are able to accommodate all very easily and smoothly. The COVID era that we are going through has really reset the globalization equation, and India and Africa, as two geographies with phenomenal potential, can leverage new opportunities that are arising today. As an example, the uncertainty really caused, if one sees by this pandemic, has really created a global demand for shorter, more trusted, and more resilient supply chains. With a changing architecture of global trade agreements, the focus is shifting towards value chain and investment-led trade. So even as we see countries getting more interlinked and interdependent, we also need to ensure that the next globalization stage is not just limited to resources and markets. We actually need to decentralize and reimagine production centers, which is how we can jointly defragment and broad-base the economic engagement between African continent and India. And in this regard, the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, which integrates African markets, offers a great potential for India and Africa to explore new areas of engagement with trade in diversified products and services, really setting the pace. This conclave, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, are over 3 days, and it takes up these broader areas of partnership, such as agriculture, sustainable energy, and many important other areas. And tomorrow, the conclave would deliberate on the expanse of service opportunities such as IT, tourism, hospitality. And in today's context, very importantly, we will also focus, of course, on healthcare. From CII, we would continue to play a central role in the changed landscape of India-Africa partnership. We have been deeply invested in the relationship over the last 3 decades, and over the previous 15 editions of the Project Partnership Conclave, as well as the regional conclaves. We from CII have helped facilitate new projects by Indian businesses in Africa. I can say that there is great enthusiasm in Indian industry for leveraging opportunities in the continent. I must over here make a very special welcome and warmly welcome, before I conclude this introductory remarks of mine, that a very important role which has been played by our ambassadors and high commissioners of African countries who are based in Delhi and who are participating in this conclave. And so equally are important are the roles and contributions which we have received from our ambassadors and high commissioners in different parts of Africa, many of them the former ambassadors and high commissioners who are continuing to help us in nurturing and growing this very important relationship. I wanted to particularly acknowledge them and their contribution. We look forward further to the support and guidance of our Honorable Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, and the African Excellencies ministers who are present here today. I now request and invite Mr. Sanjeev Bajaj, the President Designate of CII, to give his perspectives. And thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, CB, and good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Shri Piyush Goyal, our Minister for Commerce, Industry, Consumer Affairs, Food, Public Distribution and Textiles, honorable other ministers from various African nations, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. This partnership between India and Africa is a very strong example of a multi-pronged South-South cooperation. And we have seen over the past 2 decades that this bilateral...
I'm getting it. I can hear. I don't know what's happening to my mic and all that.
Can others go on mute, please? This bilateral partnership has grown manifold and is more than just a development partnership between our various nations. The India-Africa bilateral trade volumes have grown from just about $1 billion in 2001 to nearly $60 billion last year. And our governments have together systematically dismantled various tariff and non-tariff barriers to encourage trade. Equally important, the private sector in both regions have been at the helm of various trade promotion and facilitation initiatives. Now, we know that global value chains have started to shift as economies are reorienting themselves in this pandemic world and in the post-pandemic period as well. This does require an even closer relationship between Africa and India so that we can mutually harness various new opportunities. The African Continental Free Trade Area has now come into effect. In the pandemic period, this vast regional market will help African countries accelerate growth and attract foreign direct investment. Indian industry believes that India can play a defining role in supporting Africa's economic integration with deeper engagements in the region's industrial and infrastructure development projects, in public institution building, development of human resources for future industries, etc. And let me highlight a few key areas where we believe Indian industry has a role to play. First is digital technology. India has created a very robust open platform enabling digital technology and with multiple new platforms across various businesses. And for example, if we take just fintech, countries in Africa have also developed great models, and we can bring these to each other. Second, both sides are looking for new manufacturing opportunities that will create local jobs and local capacities. We have the opportunity to jointly leapfrog into the new digital manufacturing space, creating synergies, whether in IoT, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, amongst others, aligning ourselves once again to future manufacturing. Third, in the backdrop of the pandemic, healthcare naturally needs to be a critical and important area for greater collaboration. Both sides are working to ensure vaccination reaches to all within the shortest period of time. But we are also building our healthcare infrastructure, both hard infrastructure in terms of hospitals, clinics, diagnostic centers, also our medicine capacity, and soft infrastructure with the National Digital Health Mission, which is creating a set of common digital health protocols that can be used for individuals across the country And I'm sure many of these, and we have our minister also later on, can be made available to various African countries. Fourth, infrastructure development becomes a key area where Indian companies could participate in a bigger way. It includes transportation, power, renewable energy, where Africa has tremendous opportunity, and a strong public-private partnership mechanism, and of course, development finance options can help us towards achieving common objectives in this area. Fifth, agri-related products, including fertilizers, farm equipment, refineries, as well as building R&D capabilities in agri-tech, which is also a way of the future. Of course, a lot of these things don't happen overnight, Your Excellencies, and that's where we need that longer-term collaboration, continued collaboration between our various countries. And finally, the sixth area is for African markets to tap into the huge potential of our services trade in India. India's IT services is well known, but many more across healthcare, financial services, media, and entertainment are also gaining traction. With a strong background of shared experiences and capabilities, this services sector cooperation can greatly expand. An investment-led trade approach could help us sustain the dynamic trade growth between India and Africa and expand trade both in terms of number of partners involved in it, as well as the range and value of goods and services being traded. Indian industry has found many productive opportunities in Africa, and we are thankful for those. And we are committed to engaging further in Africa's growth and progress in a sustainable and mutually beneficial manner. May I thank all the ministers for taking the time for sharing their perspectives with us and for their encouragement to Indian industry, which will continue to motivate us to deepen our engagement with Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bajaj. May I now invite our guest of honor, His Excellency, Mr. Otunba Richard Adebayo, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Republic of Nigeria, to address us, please. His Excellency, Mr. Adebayo. Okay, let me.
Hello, I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, we can, sir. Please go right ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a pleasure to be with you all here today at this 16th CII Exim Bank Conclave on India and Africa Project Partnership with the theme, Harnessing the Africa-India Opportunity, Connect, Create, Collaborate. Towards this end, I wish to inform you all that this conference would have far-reaching consequences for both the public and private sectors, as well as building international cooperation between the governments of India and the African continent as a whole to generate value in free zones. Let me also inform you that the African continent has embarked on an ambitious step in creating the world's largest free trade zone. The African Continental Free Trade Area has great potential of creating a combined consumer and business spending of about 6.7 trillion United States dollars, while offering some of the world's biggest opportunities for attracting foreign direct investment, FDI. According to the United Nations Commission for Africa, the African Continental Free Trade Area has the potential to boost intra-African trade by 52% by the year 2022. Distinguished participants, as you may be aware, India is now Africa's third largest trading partner. The main export destinations being South Africa, Kenya, Egypt, Nigeria, Tanzania, Mauritius, Mozambique, Algeria, Ghana, and Ethiopia. Yet, the bilateral trade data and patterns suggest the true potentials have not yet been realized, as African countries predominantly export raw crude oil and other extractive resources to India. In the light of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, as African countries aim to reduce their economic dependence on resource trade, India could play a catalytic role in Africa's collective efforts to boost the region's manufacturing and service exports. The Nigerian government has prepared an intervention program articulated in the form of an implementation plan relative to the different sectors in the Nigerian economy to include agriculture, manufacturing, mining, oil and gas, tourism and hospitality, transportation, ICT and digital economy. And the government's economic policy favors and places priority on greater trade and investment in agricultural production and agro-processing industries, construction, tourism, and manufacturing and export. These investment opportunities are embedded in the following sectors of the Nigerian economy, and these are agriculture, solid minerals, tourism, the power sector, construction, and transportation. Furthermore, the federal government of Nigeria, through the National Action Committee on the African Continental Free Trade Area, is also working towards setting up the African Continental Free Trade Area implementation focal desk in the various states of Nigeria, and have urged the state governments to explore the areas of comparative advantage for economic growth and job creation. In order to succeed in this 21st century environment, a zone of any type must be adapted to the host country's specific situation and must build on its comparative advantages. Having a long-term vision is particularly important because economic transformation can take decades. In this regard, it is important for India and Africa to undertake joint actions in order to promote synergies and coordination among the different sectors of the economy. I thank you very much for your kind attention, and I wish each and every one of us a very fruitful deliberation. Thank you very much, Your Excellencies.
Thank you, Excellency. May I now invite our next guest of honor, His Excellency Mr. Jean-Lucien Boussa Tongba, Minister of External Trade, DR Congo. His Excellency, Mr.
Oui, je voudrais vous remercier pour l'honneur que vous me faites.
Please switch on the
Je me
translation.
considérez comme l'invité d'honneur. Je voudrais féliciter les organisateurs pour l'opportunité offerte à l'Afrique et à l'Inde de pouvoir échanger sur les investissements et les commerces. Le ministre nigérien a tout dit sur les opportunités qu'offre le commerce entre l'Afrique et l'Inde. L'ouverture de l'Afrique grâce à ce nouveau marché qui est la zone de libre-échange continentale africaine. Je voudrais rassurer l'Inde de l'ouverture de l'Afrique et en particulier de l'ouverture de la République démocratique du Congo pour une coopération économique et commerciale fructueuse. L'Afrique est une terre d'opportunités et l'Inde aussi est une terre d'opportunités pour l'Afrique. En ce qui concerne la République démocratique du Congo en particulier, je voudrais vous assurer que le gouvernement de la République, sous le leadership du président de la République, est déterminé à créer un environnement économique propice aux investissements et au développement économique. Le Code d'investissement de la République démocratique du Congo, ainsi que plusieurs autres incitations fiscales, ouvrent la République démocratique du Congo aux investissements directs étrangers. Nous sommes déterminés à promouvoir les investissements directs étrangers autant que nous sommes déterminés à les protéger. Alors, je voudrais ici dire que la République démocratique du Congo est véritablement cette terre où les investissements devraient être promus. Nous avons des potentialités immenses, sous-exploitées et même insuffisamment exploitées. Le secteur minier offre de grosses opportunités en termes d'industrie de transformation de ces produits-là. Il y a les raffineries peuvent être installées en République démocratique du Congo pour transformer tous ces produits. La RDC n'a pas une industrie de raffinerie d'or, de coltan et de tous les autres minerais. Et c'est une opportunité pour tous les investisseurs indiens et d'autres parties du monde. Le secteur agricole renferme aussi un potentiel important. 80 millions d'hectares de terres arables, dont 10% seulement sont exploités. Et la plupart de ces produits ne sont pas transformés. Donc, il y a une opportunité immense en termes d'investissement dans le secteur d'exploitation agricole et dans le secteur de transformation des produits agricoles. La République démocratique du Congo a aussi des opportunités pour installer des industries agroalimentaires, des industries mécaniques, industries de transport, les industries énergétiques, les industries pétrochimiques. J'ai parlé d'industrie minière, l'industrie minérale, l'industrie manufacturière. C'est un potentiel encore ouvert à tous les investissements et c'est le moment de venir investir en République démocratique du Congo. Nous avons aussi décidé le gouvernement vient de décider sur le plan directeur d'investissement. Nous disposons d'un plan directeur d'investissement et qui est à la portée de tous les investisseurs. Et donc, mais en plus de tout cela, il y a une demande dynamique dans le pays. En même temps qu'il y a une main-d'œuvre bon marché dans le pays. Tout ceci concourt à une coopération économique fructueuse entre l'Inde et l'Afrique, et donc entre l'Inde et la République démocratique du Congo, mais aussi sur un appel que j'ai fait aux investisseurs de l'Inde et du monde entier pour venir s'implanter en République démocratique du Congo. Et je suis sûr que nos économies vont être croissantes et nos peuples vont bénéficier de ces investissements réciproques. Je souhaite aussi, et je termine par là, que le niveau du commerce entre l'investissement entre l'Inde et la République démocratique du Congo puisse croître davantage. Et ceci n'est pas possible si le mouvement d'investissement n'est pas important. Une fois de plus, la RDC est ouverte aux investissements directs indiens et promet de protéger tous les investissements qui viendraient en République démocratique du Congo. Je vous remercie.
Thank you, Excellency. I'd now like to invite our next guest of honor, His Excellency, Mr. Melaku Alibel, Honorable Minister of Trade and Industry, Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Sir.
Thank you. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, a very good afternoon from Addis Ababa. On behalf of the Ministry of Trade and Industry and our country, Ethiopia, I would like to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to the Confederation of Indian Industry and Exim Bank of India for extending an invitation to the 60th Conclave on India and Africa Project Partnership. I would like also to express my heartfelt appreciation for inviting me to take the part in the special ministerial session. It is now a known fact that India has a long history of partnership and solidarity with Africa that goes way back to the early 1920s. Ever since those times, they have had a strong trade and economic relationship where India has played a critical role in the infrastructural development of the continent. This has been the case between Ethiopia as well. The two nations have enjoyed centuries-long relationship in several regards like historical, cultural, geographical, political, and economic, commercial aspects. Africa and India is a strategic trade partner of the two countries which are playing a great role in the development of the two nations. The country's investment in the continent have grown notably in the last decade, making it the seventh largest investor in Africa. It is currently one of the top destinations for African export goods and the second trade partner of Africa next to China in the world. This shows the great contribution of India to Africa as well as for the globe as a whole. Its total trade amount with Africa grew exponentially from 6.8 billion in 2003 to 76.9 billion USD in 2018, which is an 11-fold increase in 15 years. The same can be said about Ethiopia as well. India investors are one of the prime investors in Ethiopia who play a major role in the area of investment. India's investment in Ethiopia has now reached over more than 5 billion USD. Presently, over 600 Indian companies have venture license and engage in textiles, mining, laser, and agriculture activities like floriculture and horticulture. However, there has been a large trade deficit on Africa's side and also Ethiopia's side, which remained to be the dominant feature of their trade relationship. The share of India in Africa export and import trade were about 4% and 8%, while its export and import trade with China were about 12.5 and 5% respectively. Almost all African countries signed a landmark trade agreement, the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which commits countries to remove tariffs on 90% of goods traded, progressively liberalize trade in service, and address a host of other non-tariff barriers. If successfully implemented, the agreement will create a single African market of 1.3 billion consumers with a total GDP of over $3.4 trillion, making Africa the largest free trade area in the world. Africa Free Continental Trade Agreement is also expected to encourage Africa's intra and inter-trade and boost the growth of the continent's economy as well. In the past, the share of intra-African export as a percentage of total African export had been just 17% in 2017. Also, this is an improvement from 10% in 1995. It still remains to be low in comparison to other regions like Europe, which is 69%, Asia 59%, and North America 31%. As a result of this, trade is expected to be a key driver of growth in Africa in the coming decades. The market opportunities in Africa that will be created by the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement would attract Indian investors to engage in the manufacturing investment areas of Africa. This in turn helps Africa to use its natural resource efficiency and to expand and diversify manufacturing industry to improve its productivity, as well as to raise its trade performance with non-African countries by enhancing regional and global value chain. In addition to the market size and access created by African Continental Free Trade Agreement, most of African countries have several other preferential market access given by different countries and economic communities like the AGOA, everything but arms, China Generalized System of Preference, US GSP, Japan GSP, and the likes. In the hope that India-African trade will continue to thrive and flourish, both sides have also been making consultations to efficiently use the market access obtained by India GSP. Efforts have been made to promote Africa's producers, exporters, and their products to the Indian market and further increases India's involvement in Africa's economic development. Nevertheless, Africa and India have not begun negotiation for the signing of separate trade agreement, but it is most recommended and expected to be most expedient for the two parties to negotiate on areas of cooperation that would raise the volume of trade between. Cognizant of the fact that trade is central to economic growth and ending poverty, Ethiopia has also opened its doors to regional and international trade and made significant strides to improve its economic outlook in the coming decades. This is primarily hoped to be achieved through what we refer to as the homegrown economic reform agenda, which aims to transform Ethiopia from a largely agrarian low economic country to an industrialized low and middle income country by 2030. It also outlines macroeconomic, structural, and sectoral reforms that will pave the path for jobs and inclusive growth. In line with this, we have identified 10 sectors where Ethiopia is most competitive in, which are textile, leather, food and beverage, wood and furniture, cement, pharmaceutical, motor vehicle and trailers, basic iron, steel and metals, machinery and equipment, rubber and plastics. We hope to help those who engage in these sectors and make sure the sectors thrive. In order to make this come to pass, it will require the private sector to take charge of growth. We also need to focus on making the Ethiopian economy private sector lead. Attracting foreign direct investment also another one of the Ethiopia's priorities. Studies have shown the Ethiopian tops East African in trading foreign direct investment, with almost half of the inflows to the East African region. The construction of industrial parks have also contributed significantly. Foreign direct investment inflow in Ethiopia reached $2.1 billion in 2020, amid the pandemic showing a decline of 17% from 2019, with investments taking place in the manufacturing, agriculture, and hospitality sectors. But as we are progressively recovering from the pandemic, Ethiopia also has managed to attract $1.1 billion USD during the first 5 months of 2021. There is still a wide potential to intake the inflow of foreign direct investment. In this regard, the Ethiopian government has taken serious measures in liberalizing the economy. This new initiative endeavors to attract private investment in the sector of agriculture, manufacturing, mining, tourism, and ICT. The legal reforms that have been implemented in this regard have brought about the liberalization of most sectors which were closed to private ownership to the extent of allowing foreign investment to be made in the country. A good example is the recent bid for the telecom service that afford up to 49% ownership to outside investors, which has been closed to both private and foreign investment in the history of Ethiopia. I would like to close by mentioning the priority areas and sector of cooperation that have been identified between India and Ethiopia and Africa at large. These are manufacturing and service sector, which have been identified as priority areas that would help further strengthen the two parties' trade relations. Enhancing the transport connectivity and transit infrastructure are also priority issues that could be improved by both sides to create conducive environment for their trade and investment relations. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency. May I invite our next guest of honor, His Excellency, Mr. Cesar Augusto Hinestrosa Gomez, Vice Minister of Industry and Energy, Equatorial Guinea. Sir.
Thank you very much. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. On behalf of the government of Equatorial Guinea, and especially of the Ministry of Industry and Energy, I would like to thank again the government of India and especially the organization of this event from the CYY and the Exim Bank of India for inviting us another year again, which is now becoming a tradition for our country and our government to participate in this event. It is a really pleasure to be back here with all our colleagues of the other government of India and especially from our brother countries in Africa. It's a very good sensation to be back here. We think that we are living now a very special moments. We are living now a changement of era of our society. Of course, due to pandemic, we have changed all the parameters related, especially with politics, business, education, trade, etc., and what is more related with the communication. This means that it's something that was in the agenda, but it's just have accelerated a little bit all the plans that we have in terms of development of the world. As a matter of fact, this is the second year that we are here in this conclave via Zoom, all of us. This is an opportunity. It's an acceleration of the fifth industrial revolution, but it's an opportunity for Africa to start from the very, very beginning with equal opportunities and conditions as the rest of the world. This means that we are now in the era of the Internet of Things. We are now in the era of the communication. We are now in the era of the fast transportation of goods. So we have this opportunity. We need to profit this opportunity, and we need to work together to go ahead and implement and make that this potential African market can grow as we expect as it's going to grow. For this, we think that regional integration is a key factor for developing the African free trade area. The first step of that is, of course, developing all the areas integrated in the continent, and we know that many steps has been given for all these organizations. We need to keep working on that. I think it's very good to legislate on how we are going to face this new situation with the free trade area. But the most important thing is to implement what we need to create that. I think the strategy of the African Union to focus on development of the regional areas first to go into the big area is a good decision. It's a good decision. And of course, we are going to need partners to develop this. And when I say partners, of course, it's because we are going to need a lot of investment. We are going to need a lot of handwork to develop all the potentiality of the African trade area. India, in this case, is a very interesting partner. It has been already for a long time now, but not only looking for financing as we could think. It is very important, and I think it's more important the transfer of knowledge that we can share with India, because now India is ahead on technology in several sectors. So I think these are the two key factors where we can get a very good collaboration, cooperation with India, Africa, and India partners. Connectivity and transit infrastructures turns invalid without a human resource qualified and the assistance of the entrepreneurs, saying this about the private sector. We need the participation of both, because these are the engine that's going to boost our development and is going to boost the activity between the free trade area. In Equatorial Guinea, we have the luck of having the oil sector with us, very big investments, and with all the benefits of it. The first thing we have done is to invest in infrastructures. We have invested in connectivity facilities, and now we need investors. We need partners to move ahead. We think from the government of Equatorial Guinea that we need to reinforce as we can the private sector as a key player on this game by putting in place a legal frame, including attractive fiscal terms that could help and could make attractive the investment in Africa. I think we are there. We are now having good projects in portfolio to develop with the Indian companies. It has begun from a long time now, and we hope that we could move forward. We could move forward by having all these connections or what I say, networking between all of us, and see what are the key sectors that we could work together and move forward. I don't have too much to say now. I would like just to thank again the organization to invite us to this forum, and of course we are here to answer any questions that anyone could have. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Excellency. I'd now like to invite our next guest of honor, His Excellency Professor Kitila Alexander Mukumbo, Minister of Industry and Trade, Government of the United Republic of Tanzania.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting us, and greetings from Tanzania. We are very pleased to be able to join this very important meeting, which is discussing the state and the future of India-Africa partnership in project trade and industrialization. Tanzania and India have had long history of political, social, cultural, and economic partnership in a number of areas, ranging from anti-colonialism days to now important economic partnerships. In the recent past, Tanzania and India have cooperated in a number of projects. For example, India and Tanzania are implementing some of the very big water projects in Tanzania through the funding of the Exim Bank of India. And these have played a very important role in terms of improving the lives of our people. We have also been cooperating in a number of infrastructure projects, healthcare projects, and in education. So already Tanzania and India, and I believe in other African countries, we have had some of the most important projects for the improvement of the lives of our people. As we chart out the next levels of cooperation, we look forward to engaging in a number of further areas like my colleagues from other African countries have mentioned. For example, in electronic and automobile industries, more importantly, in the value addition of our agricultural products. At the moment, if you check the trade balance between India and Tanzania, very much our exports are based on non-processed materials. We still export our product in raw forms, and we think that the future arrangement should be based on value addition of our products, agro-processed products, so that we can increase the volume of trade in those areas, but also we can facilitate creation of employment with our products. We are also interested very much in learning from India on the small-scale manufacturing industries. We are aware that India is very much advanced in small-scale industrialization, leave alone the big industries. And these small-scale industries, they are very important because they have a potential of creating big employment. And our focus at the moment, and as far as industrialization is concerned, is actually to facilitate employment. And we know India in this area has done a very good.
Seems to have got disconnected, Renuka.
I think there's a connectivity issue there. We'll move on to the next one. May I now invite His Excellency, Mr. Adeds Kojo Sevon Tepe, Minister of Commerce, Industry and Local Consumption, Republic of Togo. He will be speaking in French, so please switch on your French button for the English translation. Excellency, can we have you, please?
Merci beaucoup, Madame la modératrice. Mesdames et Messieurs les chers collègues, Excellences, Messieurs les ambassadeurs, Mesdames et Messieurs les opérateurs économiques, chers participants du 16e conclave Inde-Afrique. Je voudrais tout d'abord, au nom du gouvernement du Togo, remercier et féliciter les organisateurs, notamment le gouvernement indien, Exim Bank et la Confédération de l'industrie indienne pour la tenue effective du 16e conclave Inde-Afrique, malgré la crise sanitaire marquée par la pandémie au coronavirus. C'est tout un honneur pour mon pays, le Togo, d'être une fois encore invité à cette importante rencontre Inde-Afrique et de prendre la parole cet après-midi pour débattre sur la thématique défragmenter et élargir le commerce bilatéral Inde-Afrique. La participation togolaise à ces rencontres depuis 2010 a permis de développer, de solidifier davantage les relations politiques, économiques et commerciales entre l'Inde et notre pays. Ceci s'est traduit par la réalisation de nombreux projets, notamment l'intensification de la culture du riz, du maïs et du sorgho, l'équipement et la gestion des matériels agricoles, l'électrification rurale, l'organisation des programmes de formation en commerce international. Ces différents projets ont fortement contribué à la réduction de la pauvreté et à l'accélération du processus de développement dans les différentes zones d'implantation. Mesdames et messieurs, chers participants, Notre participation à ce webinaire nous offre l'agréable devoir de vous faire part de notre position sur l'état du commerce bilatéral entre l'Inde et le continent africain et de partager avec vous nos propositions pour son amélioration afin qu'il soit de plus en plus gagnant-gagnant pour les deux parties. En effet, la situation du commerce bilatéral amorcée depuis des lustres a beaucoup évolué ces dernières années. D'après les statistiques du gouvernement indien et de la Banque africaine de développement, les échanges commerciaux bilatéraux sont passés de 1 milliard de dollars US en 1995 à 4 milliards en 2000, puis à 62 milliards en 2018, soit 24 milliards de dollars d'exportation vers l'Afrique et 38 milliards d'importations en direction des pays africains. Selon ces institutions, les dites statistiques ont connu une hausse de 22% par rapport à ceux de 2016 et placent ainsi l'Inde comme le deuxième partenaire commercial du continent après la Chine et se place donc devant ainsi la France et les États-Unis d'Amérique. Par ailleurs, une analyse rapide de ces chiffres fait ressortir que les exportations indiennes vers le continent sont généralement constituées de produits pharmaceutiques, d'automobiles, de biens d'équipement et dans une moindre mesure du textile. Dans le sens inverse, l'Inde importe de l'Afrique les produits pétroliers à hauteur de 52%, les pierres précieuses et les produits agricoles, surtout les fruits. Mesdames et messieurs, de ces analyses, nous pouvons retenir que la balance commerciale entre l'Inde et l'Afrique est encore largement déficitaire pour le continent africain, fait de la nature des produits exportés, à savoir les matières premières brutes, contre des biens manufacturés ayant plus de valeur très diversifiée. Face à cette situation très déséquilibrée, j'estime qu'il est temps que nous changions de paradigme. Ainsi, au niveau des exportations vers l'Inde, donner plus de valeur à nos exportations qui sont jusqu'à ce jour composées de matières premières telles que le pétrole, les pierres précieuses, les fruits, par leur semi ou totale transformation sur le continent africain. Élargir également la base des produits exportés en y incorporant de nouveaux, tels que les produits dérivés du soja, de l'anacarde et d'autres fruits dont le continent est principalement producteur. Au niveau des importations en provenance de l'Inde, au lieu de continuer par importer des produits manufacturés vers le continent africain, nous devrions œuvrer plutôt dans le cadre de la coopération Inde-Afrique pour que des industries indiennes viennent transformer sur place ici en Afrique nos matières premières et surtout à délocaliser vers notre continent des unités industrielles spécialisées dans la production des biens jusque-là importés de l'Inde, comme l'ont souligné ceux qui m'ont précédé. Exporter du know-how, je voudrais parler du savoir indien, qui est plus proche de nos réalités afin d'aider nos États à s'industrialiser davantage. Ceci aura le mérite de contribuer à créer plus d'emplois pour la jeunesse africaine. À cet effet, je salue les efforts du gouvernement indien qui a annoncé, lors de la clôture du dernier sommet Inde-Afrique, tenu du 17 au 19 mars 2019, de la mise en place d'une ligne de crédit de 10 milliards de dollars pour des entreprises indiennes qui souhaiteraient investir en Afrique. S'agissant des échanges maintenant commerciaux entre l'Inde et le Togo, les exportations de l'Inde vers le Togo sont évaluées en termes de millions de dollars US, de 409 en 2017 et 2018, de 694 de 2018, de 1041 millions de dollars entre 2019 et 2020 et de 1547 millions de dollars de 2020 à 2021. Les importations partant de l'Inde en provenance du Togo, de leur côté, sont toujours en millions de dollars de 164 entre 2017 et 2018, de 304 entre 2018 et 2019, 384 entre 2019 et 2020 et de 300 entre 2020 et 2021. Mesdames et messieurs, chers collègues, au regard de ces statistiques fournies et le département par l'ICET et le département du commerce et de l'industrie du gouvernement de l'Inde, la balance commerciale entre nos deux États, nous le trouvons largement déficitaire pour notre pays. Mesdames et messieurs, pour sa part, mon pays est disposé à accueillir des investisseurs indiens pour leur faire profiter des immenses opportunités dans le golfe de Togo en vue de créer des unités industrielles destinées à transformer nos matières premières en produits semi-finis ou finis dans le domaine du textile et d'autres produits agricoles. À cet effet, le gouvernement togolais, sous le leadership de son Excellence, M. Faure Gnassingbé, président de la République, œuvre inlassablement à offrir un cadre plus attractif et sûr aux investisseurs étrangers en général et aux hommes et femmes d'affaires indiens en particulier. L'économie togolaise est l'une des plus ouvertes et connectées en Afrique. Nous nous sommes engagés dans une profonde dynamique de transformation économique et sociale matérialisée par l'adoption du plan national de développement 2018-2022 et de la feuille de route gouvernementale Togo 2025. Par ailleurs, nous avons entrepris des réformes depuis plusieurs années en matière d'amélioration de l'environnement des affaires avec des résultats salués par plusieurs classements internationaux dans le rapport du business groupe de la banque. Ces réformes ont permis d'incarner une nouvelle approche de l'État vis-à-vis du secteur privé et des investisseurs. Classé premier réformateur en Afrique et troisième au plan mondial par le rapport du business 2020, le Togo gagne ainsi entre 2019 et 2020 plus de 50 places selon le dit rapport. Mesdames et messieurs, le Togo est un pays stable, sécurisé et géographiquement bien positionné avec des infrastructures modernes et connectées au reste du monde. Nous disposons, il faut le préciser, d'un port en eau profonde, naturel, le seul dans la sous-région ouest-africaine qui accueille aujourd'hui les navires de dernière génération. Des opportunités d'investissement existent dans les secteurs agricoles, miniers, du tourisme, de l'énergie, de l'habitat, des technologies de l'information et de la communication. À travers le PND et le plan stratégique Togo 2025, le pays a élaboré des projets structurants et innovants qui attendent des investissements pour leur mise en route. S'agissant de la crise sanitaire au coronavirus, le gouvernement a su très tôt prendre l'habitude de la et adopter des mesures appropriées qui ont permis de limiter ses impacts sur les activités économiques. Je lance donc un appel aux opérateurs économiques indiens pour venir investir sur notre plateforme industrielle qui a un Tikopé situé à une dizaine de kilomètres de la capitale. Ce parc qui est rendu opérationnel déjà depuis le 6 juin dernier. Un véritable écosystème dédié à la transformation des ressources naturelles du Togo se place ici, tels que le phosphate, le soja, la noix de cajou, le coton et autres produits locaux. En souhaitant plein succès à notre conclave, je voudrais vous remercier de votre aimable attention. Merci.
Thank you, Excellency. I'd now like to invite our next guest of honor, His Excellency Mr. F.M.M. Shava, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Republic of Zimbabwe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. ministers of state from India and Africa in attendance, the president of the Confederation of Indian Industry and Commerce from India and from Africa, all protocol observed. On behalf of the government of Zimbabwe, the Republic of Zimbabwe, I want to thank the government of India for the government of India and the Confederation of the Indian Industry, C2, and the Exim Bank of India for inviting the Zimbabwe government to participate at the 16th edition of the Exim Bank Conclave on India-Africa Project Partnership. The conclave remains an important platform to promote business opportunities between India and Africa. Zimbabwe continues to reap positive outcomes through this annual platform. This year's conclave is yet again being held at a time that the world is grappling with the COVID-19 pandemic, which has caused devastating impact on the global economy. Undoubtedly, there is need for Africa and India to devise an adaptive strategy or strategies and innovative ways to mitigate the impact of the pandemic and conform to the new normal. Distinguished delegates, increased trade and investments are priority areas that can facilitate enhanced bilateral economic cooperation between Africa and India. Although India is Africa's third largest trading partner with 6% share, there is a great scope to increase trade in goods and services of the impactful strategies, if impactful strategies are adopted and implemented. It is observed that as Africa, we export more of the primary commodities to India, while India exports more value-added products to Africa, such as pharmaceuticals and machinery, as well as equipment. The structural transformation of Africa needs enhanced value addition and beneficiation, and as such, there is need to reduce over-dependence on primary commodities for export. Distinguished delegates, there are some obstacles that have been identified which continue to hinder the growth of the India-Africa trade, and these include limited production capacity, infrastructure bottlenecks, and financing. The African Union's Agenda 2063 has therefore prioritized implementation of continentally agreed programs, such as the Action Plan for Accelerated Industrial Development of Africa, AIDA, the Program for Infrastructure Development in Africa, PIDA, and the African Agro-Industrial Development Initiative, and attracting foreign direct investments, FDI. African economies are keen to industrialize by venturing in manufacturing, production, and participation in regional and global value chains. There is need to upgrade productive capacities and address competitiveness challenges in the manufacturing sector. if Africa is to avoid heavy dependence on the ordinary commodities. On the trade front, you may be aware that the African Union's priority is to move towards deeper regional integration through boosting the intra-Africa trade and also increase trade with the rest of the world, including India. This has led to the coming into effect of the African Continental Free Trade Area this year, which is expected to foster the economic development agenda of member states through the trade integration, industrialization, and infrastructure development. The AfCFTA, the Africa Free Trade Area, offers immense opportunities for potential investors from India to set up in Africa and produce a diversity of goods and services for export into the entire African market and beyond. Indian companies are therefore well positioned to establish production facilities and strengthen commercial presence in Africa in projects that promote enhanced value addition and beneficiation. The possibility of establishing a free trade agreement between Africa and India in the spirit of South-South cooperation to take advantage of the Africa Free Trade Area is worthy pursuing in the foreseeable future. This is against the background that not all African countries qualify under the duty-free tariff preference scheme offered by the Indian government for the least developed countries exports to India. Around 38 out of the 54 countries, African countries, benefit from such a scheme. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa is faced with trade-related infrastructure challenges in terms of interconnectivity through road, rail, air, waterways, and soft infrastructure, including ICT and energy. Priority has therefore been placed on the program for the infrastructure development in Africa, mobilization of financial resources for multi-country infrastructure development products, including energy and transport, and creating an enabling environment for private sector participation in the development of infrastructure. We in Africa have welcomed the affirmation by the Indian government and industry on the commitment to partner with countries in Africa in our various developmental trajectories for mutual benefit. We would therefore like to express our sincere gratitude to the essential role played by the government of India in deepening India-Africa bilateral cooperation through committing funding for the developmental projects in Africa. Distinguished delegates, distinguished guests, Zimbabwe aspires to benefit and become India's leading economic, technological, and industrial development partner in Southern Africa. Zimbabwe offers immense business opportunities which are ready to tap in virtually all sectors. We seek to revamp the economy by growing the agricultural, mining, industrial, and services sectors, and building world-class infrastructure to facilitate the development of diverse industrial ventures. The country has huge growth potential given the vast natural resources base that we have and arable land and over 40 minerals, highly educated and skilled trainable workforce, which is highly sought after internationally. We are encouraged to note that there are a number of companies owned by Indian nationals doing very good business in Zimbabwe, notably in the edible oils industry, beverages sector, and pharmaceutical sector. There has also been increasing interest by a number of Indian-owned companies to participate in infrastructure developments projects in Zimbabwe in a number of sectors, including agro-industry, medical, tourism, and so on. Zimbabwe targets to develop modern, efficient, and well-developed infrastructure to catalyze economic transformation. The current infrastructure base needs upgrading to facilitate industrial development and trade. We have an ambitious plan to upgrade our road network and increase power generation capacity. There are immense opportunities for investment in energy and power generation, road and rail infrastructure, dams construction and irrigation development, and housing and social amenities projects, among others. The services sector also presents numerous investment opportunities in tourism, medical services, financial services, transport and communication, ICT, education, among others. There are investments opportunities in tourism for the development of the hospitality industry, the safari and tour operators and gaming industries. Tourists are also welcome to tour our diversified attractions in Zimbabwe that include the famous Victoria Falls and Hwange National Park, among other attractions. The government of Zimbabwe continues to facilitate the ease of doing business and ensure that Zimbabwe is indeed open for business. A series of far-reaching reforms have been implemented to facilitate the ease of doing business in Zimbabwe and direct the economic trajectory investments. And trade as well is expected to drive structural transformation and industrialization. One of the major reforms implemented in the review of the controversial 5149 indigenization policy and the law. Investors can now come and do business in Zimbabwe in all key sectors with up to 100% foreign ownership permissible. Shareholding is actually on outcome of negotiations between those who are taking part or who are interested in similar business. Protection of investments is guaranteed. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, Zimbabwe needs strategic partners for success. This is why we have far-reaching. We have far-reaching out to India, business people to elaborate with us in our development journey towards a just, equitable, and prosperous Zimbabwe. India business people are welcome to do business in Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe Investment and Development Agency will stand ready to assist those who are potential investors in Zimbabwe. I thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Excellency. And now I invite His Excellency Mr. Lawrence Macharia Karanja, Chief Administrative Secretary, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development, Kenya.
Thank you very much, fellow ministers from across Africa, our host, the Minister for Industry and Trade, the Government of India, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. A good evening from Nairobi, Kenya. To start with, I wish to congratulate the Confederation of Indian Industry and its partners for organizing this dedicated session to facilitate discussions and discuss Africa-India trade. We note with satisfaction that this session is being graced by a wide range of players, including policymakers, captains of industries, and other distinguished business people. This meeting comes for the second time amidst COVID-19, just like we had done last year. And we are now in the recovery stage of from the COVID-19. This implies that during the recovery, there are multiple opportunities for business people from Africa and its trading partners to engage in trade and investment under existing trade agreements, including African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. The African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement has a potential to elevate over 30 million people out of extreme poverty, while boosting income of nearly 68 million others who live on less than $1. Additionally, this trading arrangement will create new employment opportunities in emerging and unexplained sectors, which I'll be discussing hereafter. Since I speak for Kenya, let me start by indicating that Kenya has signed preferential trade agreements with several countries with a total population of about 1.4 billion, with a market value of over 29 trillion USD dollars, 29 trillion. Among the agreements, they include the East African Community, COMESA, East Africa, COMESA and SADC Tripartite Agreement, and AFCTA. The gains of this potential are important in the context of COVID-19 pandemic, which has disrupted the economic activities globally, including global supply and global supply chains. For African countries to realize the full potential presented by the African Continental Free Trade Area and other regional trade agreements, countries will need to cooperate while attracting investment and cultivating strategic partnership across the globe. India is therefore a critical partner. And as we have said, because of COVID-19, there was a disruption of trade and supply chain. And this has now caused us to change our strategy. And we are looking at setting up factories in areas where we have the market. For instance, and that is what we are saying, for instance, setting such factories and manufacturing plants in Africa. Because once you do that, you'll have access to the entire Africa as a market. Under existing continental and regional trade deals, trade and investment opportunities exist in labor-intensive sectors, including agribusiness, construction, textile, apparel, micro, small and medium enterprises. In the long term, opportunities for partnership, trade and investment under AFCTA and COMESA and other tripartite agreements is in strengthening trade facilitation institutions, improving infrastructures, accelerating technology adoption, and enhancing relevant job skills. For instance, the continent's large transport and logistic deficit presents a huge opportunity for public-private partnership in improving transportation, logistic hubs, and inland, maritime, renewable energy, provision of safe water, affordable internet provisions toward development, and transformation of health, education, tourism, and agricultural sectors, and further formation of regional manufacturing clusters and supply chains in digital information. From a Kenyan perspective, AfCFTA and other regional trade deals create immense investment and export market opportunities for investors in multiple sectors, including those falling under the Kenyan National Big Four agenda of manufacturing, affordable housing, universal healthcare, and agriculture. The Big Four agenda aims to boost local production, expand regional markets, and take advantage of global market niches and shifting the manufacturing production into the African continent and beyond. Globally, digital trade has emerged as being critical in helping investors and business leverage emerging innovations in the new business landscape. The fintech distribution and logistics sector have experienced growth with digital solutions and platform facilitating digital trade, thus ensuring sustained supply chains of essential commodities and services across the country and region. To facilitate trade and investment in Kenya, under existing trade agreements, including the Big Four agenda, Kenya has put in place various interventions, including one, promotion of value addition in agro-processing, textile, leather, construction services, and materials, automobile, pharmaceutical, oil, gas, mining services, and IT-related sectors. Secondly, we are creating an enabling environment to accelerate industrial development through development of industrial parks and zones along infrastructure corridors, technical skills, supporting infrastructure, and ease of doing business. Thirdly, adopting an import substitution and export-oriented strategy for economic growth and development. And lastly, developing medium, small, and micro enterprises to participate effectively in global supply chains by utilizing the digital trade through e-commerce. It is, in conclusion, the existing trade deals, including AfCFTA, present opportunities to increase the value of export from Kenya and other African countries through value addition of raw materials and basic services to globally competitive goods and services. As such, these present opportunities for partnership with India and other global players in skills development, technology transfer, and infrastructure development to increase domestic capacities for value addition and export trade diversification. It is important for us to remember that for Africa, the youthful population presents a critical dividend to enable Africa leverage on opportunities resulting from an increase of global partnership and investment in economic, technology, and social development factors, including the growing e-commerce space and digital innovations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency. Now I invite His Excellency Mr. Felix Molu, Minister of Economy, Planning and Cooperation, Central African Republic. We are not sure whether he has joined, but we are still trying to see if he has, then he will be speaking now. Do we have the Minister from Central African Republic here, please? No, I don't think he's there. Ladies and gentlemen, due to poor connectivity, halfway through we had lost Professor Kitila Alexander Mukumbo from the Republic of Tanzania. So I'd like to request him to please complete his address. Sir, can we have you please? Professor Mukumbo, Minister of Industry and Trade, Government of the United Republic of Tanzania, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Moderator, for granting us another opportunity. And we apologize for technical mishap, which actually disconnected us from the audience. I will take up from where I left, which is what I was saying, that the next level of our strategic engagement between Africa and India. And for Tanzania, we are focusing on value addition. And this is because at the moment, our export to India is very much dominated by exportation of raw materials. And in terms of developing our industrialization strategy, we needed to focus on that area. The second area I was talking about was the electronic automobile industry, and also talked about the small scale manufacturing industry, which we can learn from India, which has done very well as we know. And of course, we look forward to continuing cooperating in the areas of infrastructure, healthcare, and the other project which we have done very well, as I say. The last point was that Tanzania, of course, is part of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which, as others have said, offers a potentially largest free trade area in the world. And in this case, we'd like to invite our friend from India to come and invest in Tanzania so that they can utilize the opportunity that are offered by this very big free trade area in Africa and in the world. And in conclusion, Tanzania is open to doing business with India as always, and of course, other development projects. And as part of Africa, we look forward to fruitful and productive engagement and partnership in the next round of our cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure now to have the keynote address by our chief guest, Mr. Piyush Goyal, Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution and Textiles, Government of India. Can we have the address, please?
Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Habari, Namaste. A very good evening to all our dignitaries present at this very important India-Africa Project Partnership Conclave, prepared, conceptualized, and consistently being organized by our industry association, the Confederation of Indian Industry. Thank you very much for your active participation. And thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you, Chandrajit, for your leadership of this event. This year's theme, Harnessing the Africa-India Opportunity, Connect, Create, and Collaborate, is extremely important during the pandemic year, where nations are working in partnership with each other and working together as friends to help each other to fight this pandemic. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to address all of you at this very important program, even though it is only through video conferencing and we will miss that personal connect. But I am looking forward to meeting each one of my colleague ministers and other distinguished participants in the near future as we vaccinate more and more people, both in India and around the world, and look forward to once again getting back businesses, getting back international travel, and getting back the personal connect that our several engagements would provide for each of us. We are all aware India and Africa go back in history through our very, very deep cultural connect, our shared values, and our people-to-people relationship. The similarity of our struggles have solidified the foundation of this very important partnership. In the course of time, we have become natural partners with a very similar mindset, working for the prosperity of our people, of our youth, and working to provide a better quality of life for our generations to come. Our relations have assumed even greater significance after Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi gave top priority to Africa in India's foreign and economic policy. To enhance diplomatic engagements, government has decided to open 18 new missions in Africa, taking the total to 47 across the African continent. The time has now come to push the envelope and take our partnership to the next level for mutual benefit of our people, of our businesses, of our stakeholders in a variety of ways. Developing the India-Africa relationship can truly help fulfill the dreams and aspirations of 1/3 of humanity, 1/3 of the world's population. The 4 pillars of our India-Africa engagement are government, people, business, and trade. Let me elaborate on each one of these pillars. When we talk of government engagement, Africa is the second largest recipient of Indian overseas assistance, with lines of credit worth $10 billion to Africa alone. A comprehensive economic cooperation and partnership agreement with Mauritius is India's first agreement with an African country, and I do hope it will be the precursor to many more such engagements, many more such agreements with our African friends, other countries in the African continent. When we talk about people, the Indian diaspora in 46 countries of Africa are contributing very significantly to the development of our African nations. When we talk of business, Indian investments in Africa aggregate nearly $54 billion. The African Continental Free Trade Area will help Indian investors and businesses to engage with African nations in a much larger way. When we look at the trade between the African nations and India, it has grown from $7.2 billion 20 years ago in 2001 to $66.7 billion in 1920, nearly an 8-fold increase in the African-Indian trade. This results or reflects a 17.2% growth since 2001, annual growth. Therefore, India, as Africa's 3rd largest trading partner, plays an important role in the economic development and a better future for the people of Africa. And I'm sure working together, we can significantly increase our business engagements, our trade, our geopolitical relations on a government-to-government basis, all of which will culminate in even deeper and stronger ties between the people of India and Africa. COVID-19 has proved once again the resilience of the relationship between African nations and India. It has highlighted the need for international cooperation in tackling the challenges of the 21st century. India stood for our African brothers and sisters, whether it was sending essential medicines or vaccines to over 32 countries during this pandemic. Further, India and South Africa together are leading the humanitarian initiative of the TRIPS waiver for patents at the WTO. And I am confident that the collective effort of South Africa and India, supported by all our brother African nations, will yield good results at the WTO. Such a waiver would be a blessing for nations to scale up manufacturing of essential medicines, of vaccines, and ensure their availability at very, very affordable prices. We may be separated by geographies, brothers and sisters, but we are united by our common goal for development and our desire for a better future for our children. India realizes the true potential of our African nations and therefore has always remained steadfast to help our partner countries grow. Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Program has 40% slots reserved for Africa and Africans. The Pan-African e-Network project will provide tele-education and telemedicine to various African nations. India-Africa Health Sciences Platform, which works for research and development, capacity building, healthcare, and the pharma trade, is another very significant initiative between African nations and India. We are confident that all of these initiatives will enable technology transfer to Africa and help African nations also grow faster, develop faster, provide jobs to their people, and ensure prosperity for the next generation, brothers and sisters in Africa. Food security is a focus area both for Africa and for India. Agricultural growth has a multiplier effect on the economy of nations, and India would like to play an important role to ensure food security for all African countries. We have several initiatives going on in Africa. We have 5 food processing incubation centers, soil testing and health card projects in Kenya and South Africa, food testing laboratories in several countries like Gambia and Rwanda, and several other initiatives which can help India to become a knowledge hub for educating the youth and empowering them with skills in Africa. In this regard, India has started specific programs for African youth. Some initiatives are the E-Vidya Bharati scholarships, online courses, the E-Arogya Bharati free medical education and consultancy program, and several such initiatives, which I'm sure will yield significant results in the years to come. To develop a robust India-African bilateral trade and further solidify our relationship, we need a consultative and participative approach. In the total exports from Africa to India, 5 African countries have almost a 2/3 majority share. The 33 least developed countries in Africa have huge potential to increase their share of exports by availing duty-free market access on 96% of India's total tariff lines. I would urge the other 6 least developed countries who have not yet joined the duty-free tariff preference scheme to also take the benefit of this program and encourage you to expand your trade, business, and engagement with India and Indian businesses. I take this opportunity to invite all African nations to work in partnership with India, because our goals for development and prosperity of our people are aligned, are very, very similar, and together we can transform our economies, we can grow our economies, and we can provide for the welfare of the people of Africa and India. Our development plan for Africa is guided by Africa's priorities, as is evident through preferential treatment in trade, market access, service waivers, waiving visa fees, technical assistance, and capacity building. There's a huge scope for geographic diversification and expansion of the trade basket. And I invite all of you to avail of this huge opportunity in India. The India-Africa trade target of $100 billion over the next 2 or 3 years and $150 billion in 5 years by 2026 can be a guiding light to help us expand our engagement with various African countries. Our investments in Africa will also help us in cementing this relationship. We have invested in sectors like pharma, healthcare, energy, information and communication technologies, roads, railways, and other infrastructure projects, the automobile sector. And we are open to new investments in other areas, particularly in helping African startups fly. I invite entrepreneurs in Africa to collaborate with Indian companies and enjoy the fruits of development. The Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, has laid out his vision in the 10 guiding principles for India-Africa engagement when he addressed the Ugandan Parliament in July 2018. India is a lucrative destination for exports from Africa, and India can add significant value to produce cost-effective and quality products, both for the Indian and the African market. We have recently introduced a product-linked incentive scheme to encourage manufacturing to scale large manufacturing projects in India. We've tried to make it attractive to invite manufacturing on very specific technology-oriented sectors in India. I would like to invite our friends from Africa also and business persons from Africa to engage with Indian businesses and take advantage of this production-linked incentive scheme. Ladies and gentlemen, the relationship between Africa and India is critical, not just for the development of our two economies or the economies of the African nations and India, but it holds importance for the progress of the whole world. As we move towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has taken it upon himself to achieve these Sustainable Development Goals for the benefit of the people of India in a fast-track manner without spreading it out until 2030. We are picking up each goal, fast-tracking it, accelerating it, so that the people of India can get benefit, be it in affordable housing, be it in energy access, be it in financial inclusion, be it in clean drinking water. Several initiatives as a part of Sustainable Development Goals are being fast-tracked in India. I urge the African nations to work with India, to learn from the India story, to learn from Prime Minister Modi's work pattern and style, and take forward these initiatives in your countries to fast-track development and ensure the development of your economies and taking the Sustainable Development Goals for the benefit of your people. The future growth drivers will clearly be sectors like healthcare, smartphones, internet penetration, the new startup ecosystem, which is becoming the flavor of the day. We are happy to work with our African brothers and sisters in all these areas. We are happy to work with you to promote manufacturing, to promote tourism, to look at research and development together, to help you in becoming energy efficient and also energy sufficient to ensure the security of your energy needs. And finally, we are looking at cooperation to help you in food security and improving agricultural practices, where India has today significantly achieved our success in food security. We would like every African country also to enjoy the fruits of food security. All of these efforts, ladies and gentlemen, will help us as we move towards our goal of sustainable development. Global solidarity is both necessary and possible. It is necessary because without a measure of solidarity, no society can be truly stable. These are the words of the Honorable Kofi Annan from Ghana. I invite all of you and the Indian businesses, the people of India and the people of Africa, to work in this spirit, because India strongly believes that Africa's rise globally is an absolute necessity and will certainly happen. We wish to cooperate and work shoulder to shoulder with our brothers and sisters in Africa to support you in achieving this goal. My best wishes to each one of you, ladies and gentlemen. My best wishes to the 16th CII Exim Bank Digital Conclave on India-Africa Project Partnership. We must harness the Africa-India opportunity. We must remain connected. We must work to create a better future for our people. We must collaborate for a much, much stronger Africa-India partnership. I pray for your good health, the good health and safety of your families and your people, and wish that these initiatives, these engagements will result in transformational improvements in our relationships, both at the business level, the government level, and the people to people level. All the best. Namaste. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. With that, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, we come to a close of this session. Thank you all for being with us. I wish you a great evening ahead and look forward to interacting again. We still have the last day of the Africa Conclave left tomorrow, and we hope to see some of you there again. Thank you very much, and good evening and good night.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.